Okay, I said I was going to show you the on-car footage of Max Verstappen in those last few laps of the 2019 Bahrain Grand Prix. Before I do, I just want to show you something. Now, there's two important things about this video. One is a little bit about Max Verstappen. Two, and this is the important bit, it shows you something about Red Bull. So let me show you this bit first, though. So this is Max Verstappen's racing career as shown on Wikipedia. You can check for yourselves. So if you look at 2015, that's the year that Max Verstappen came into Formula One. 19 races for Red Bull B team, the Toro Rosso team. Okay. Then into 2016, 4 races for Toro Rosso, and then got promoted to Red Bull. So 21 races that year. So add that to the 19, that's 40. 2017, 20 races for Red Bull, 60. 2018 is 21 races for Aston Martin Red Bull. That puts him on 81 Grand Prix, right? And then in the 2019 season, I think Bahrain might have been the 4th or 5th Grand Prix of the season. So we're talking in the region of a experience level now of somebody who has done 80 to 85 Grand Prix. 80 to 85 Grand Prix. Okay? Over the course of 2015, 16, 17, 18. So 4 full seasons in Formula One. And we're into his 5th season and somewhere between 80 and 85 Grand Prix. That's a significant level of experience. That's not a rookie. Anyway, on to this lap. Well, I said lap, I meant the last few laps of the Grand Prix. Now, bearing in mind, what happened at Bahrain 2019 was that the safety car was deployed with 3 laps remaining. Okay? The two Renaults went out of the race. They initially waved double yellow flags, and then they deployed the safety car with 3 laps to go. Now, you know, under a safety car, the field all bunches together. That takes at least a lap. Once the field is bunched together, if there's anything on track, then the marshals start working on the track. That wasn't required. So what should be possible is the cranes that are going to be there needing to lift them 2 Renaults away, they can get on to work on that straight away, but they've got to lift 2 of them out of the way, and there's probably only 1 crane there to do so. So that's going to take time, most likely at least the duration of 2 laps, and then once the field has bunched, once the incident has been cleared up and everything is safe, then, and certainly the track is safe at that point, then you release the lapped cars. That will take place over the course of a lap. Then you've got to perform an additional safety car lap to give those released cars the opportunity to catch the back of the field. Okay? So you can tell that if with 3 laps of the race to go, that race isn't going to restart. That is, anybody that has any kind of knowledge of Formula One will tell you that is a safety car finish. As soon as it happened and the safety car was deployed, safety car finish. Simple. But we'll take you through what Max Verstappen is saying, and we'll take you through the Red Bull reaction to it. Here we go.
Okay, beware there could be oil at turn 1. Both Renaults are off at turn 1, 2. Also be aware Leclerc has got some large lift and coasts. Double yellows, turn 1, 2, 3. Double yellows.
Okay, so the Renaults have gone off. They're concerned that there could be oil on the track if the Renault engine has spewed out some oil, having failed, if that's what it was. And they've also advised him that Leclerc, the car ahead of him in 3rd, has got some issues. So there is the possibility of getting by him. So, but he can't do anything about it during this part of the track where it's double wave yellows. He's got to make sure his speed is reduced accordingly during that sectors, or that single sector, or whatever sectors of the track is affected by that. I'll try and skip through where necessary just to not prolong this.
Safety car deployed. Safety car deployed.
Okay, so he's been told now the safety car has been deployed. The number of laps remaining does normally show on their steering wheel display, so they should be aware of how many laps remaining. Sometimes the drivers ask their pits to confirm, which is fine. Okay, no issues with that. But they should have some idea about how long is left in this race.
So keep your dash positive. Keep your dash positive. Stay out. Stay out.
Stay out. Stay out. We're not bringing you into the pits. So with 3 laps to go, the Red Bull decide we'll get him in and we'll pit him for fresh softs, because then he'll be right behind Charles Leclerc on fresh softs. Did they do that? No, they said stay out, stay out. Why did they say stay out, stay out? Because they know it's a safety car finish. Anyway.
You know what's a pit? I mean, we got a big gap behind them.
Do you not want me to pit? I've got a big gap behind me. So Max knows that he can get in and out of the pits and not lose track position. He's not going to drop down from 4th place. Max knows that. Okay?
Stay out, Max. Stay out.
No, just stay out, Max. Okay?
Mode 14. Mode 14.
Tires will be cold in a restart.
Tyres will be cold on the restart. Max is saying tyres will be cold on the restart. There's not going to be a restart.
Understood.
There you go, Red Bull. Understood, Max. Thanks for that. Let us do the thinking. You just concentrate on driving, Max. Understood.
What is the gap behind?
Well, it's a safety car.
What is a gap behind? Well, it's a safety car, Max. What happens during a safety car? Everybody has to slow down, but the whole field concertinas up. Let's listen to this again.
Tires will be cold in a restart.
Understood.
What is the gap behind?
Well, it's a safety car, so we'll bunch up.
Yeah, but we cannot go faster than the Delta.
Yes, correct. So just keep your dash positive, please.
Yes, but we cannot go faster than the Delta. Yeah, but everybody is going to catch you, because you'll catch the guy in front of you and then be slowed down to safety car speed. Everybody else is still going to a Delta, but that Delta is still faster than safety car speed, and ultimately they all catch the back of the pack and then have to slow themselves down to safety car lapping speed. That's what happens. You'd think, with your career in motor racing, you would think with close to 85 Grand Prix experience in your 5th season of doing this, you would know the basics of what happens during a safety car. If you can't do that, where is your level of understanding and intellect? Let's play this forward a little bit.
I'm just talking about new tires.
Still moaning, still wants to come in for new tyres. Probably 2 laps to go now.
Yep, understood. We're on it, Max. We're on it.
Yeah, understood. We're on it, Max. You just keep driving, shut up, let us do the thinking. Even Red Bull pit crew know that he's not the sharpest tool in the box. They just go, yeah, all right, mate, yeah, we're sorting it, we're sorting it. This, by the way, is one of the all-time greats, we're being told. This is one of the greatest Formula One drivers we've ever seen. Not really, is it?
Can we have fail 61? Fail 61, fail.
You think they will restart?
Not personally, no.
You think they'll restart? Not personally, no. Okay, so why people use this notion of not personally? They always kind of express it as an opinion rather than just look at factual information and say, well, the rules are this. So providing the rules are applied, there's absolutely no chance. So the answer is not personally no. The answer is no. Absolutely not. These things are not discretionary. They are what they are. They're mandatory. What the sport is trying to do is now twist it and try and present it as if it's a judgment call decision in a similar way that there are judgment calls in other sports, but actually not. It's a procedural process, the safety car thing. It's not a judgment call. You cannot meddle with a procedural process. But you know, this is all part of this culture that we've become, where people are almost afraid to make a statement of fact. It's poor. It's extremely poor. I'll fast forward to the next bit of talk. I don't know how long it is.
Okay, so this is now the final lap of the race, which means even if the safety car does come in at the end, that you will just not be racing, just pass the control line. That's it, essentially.
So this is the last lap of the race. The race is going to finish behind the safety car, so it will peel off into the pits, but you're not allowed to overtake anybody.
This is it.
Does Max say, oh, typical, I'm not surprised? No, not really. This is what happens in Formula One. This is what happens when it's a safety car finish. You can't overtake anybody, you're under the safety car condition. Typical, they're disadvantaging us on purpose. I'm not surprised.
Obviously, Leclerc is slow as well from an engine point of view, so do not overtake.
So again, they're reminding Max, because they have to tell him, although Leclerc is slow because he's got a mechanical issue, I think he'd lost his electrical power. He was down about 160 brake horsepower, they were saying on commentary. So, you know, Leclerc's done well to get home in third, and they're saying, but whatever you do, don't overtake him, because you'll get penalty points, you'll get penalised for that. So, keep that in mind. And they have to keep reminding Max. You know, you can't just say it once to Max and he understands it. You have to keep telling him. Let me fast forward a bit to the next bit of bit of radio contact. I just wanted to butt in actually and say, you can see this footage, and even after all this length of time, and we're now the third safety car lap, they've not even bunched. See, Max is not even up behind Charles Leclerc, and Charles Leclerc is not managed to catch Bottas, who is in second position. Then there's 3 lap cars, then there's Hamilton. You're not seeing this safety car snake yet, are you? And this is the 3rd lap behind the safety car. So it's not even bunched. There's absolutely no chance whatsoever. 3 laps in, the field hasn't even bunched. It's crazy.
Alright, so just to confirm, we'll follow Leclerc across the line.
See, that you can now see the cars ahead of Leclerc. Okay, that's how I can show you around on track of you. It's in fact I'll cut to that at the end. I'll come back to that.
Alright, can we have fail 84, fail 8?
Okay, I'm going to show you a bit further around this lap. Fireworks going off.
Is it on?
Yep, all good, thank you. It's a shame we didn't get a VSC rather than a safety car there. Is what it is.
Still wouldn't have cleared it up in time. They still hadn't removed all the both of the cars, so it makes no difference either way. The difference is once you put the safety car out and lapped cars are in situ, you have to release the lap cars, so you know it takes 4, 5, 6 laps in which you have to go through before racing can resume. And with 3 laps remaining, no chance, absolutely no chance. But anyway.
Well done, Max. That was a good effort today. Difficult car, but great effort.
Yeah, it's just a shame we didn't get that third place. But at least some good wins again.
Well done, Max. Good effort. Shame that the car wasn't very good. So when he doesn't win, it's the car's fault. But when he wins, it's Supermax's fault. It's all down to Supermax when he wins. Not the fact that the car is like 2 seconds a lap faster than everything else. It's all down to Max's ability, isn't it? But Max is impatient to get around now that the field has finally bunched and they're all slowing down on the the parade lap after the race. He's overtaken them like it's 2023. Whee! Let's have a look at that. What were you doing there, Max? Were you doing a donut to celebrate coming in 4th? That's the sort of thing Lando Norris would do, I think. But I don't think that was a intended donut, Max. I think you just overcooked it on the on that cooling down lap. Red Bull will tell you otherwise, though.
Max. We don't need donuts on our race box.
There you go. Trying to save face there, weren't they? When really he's just overcooked it. Right, now here's a significant thing. Bahrain 2019. The incident was 2 cars off the track, okay, that was initially a yellow flag and then safety car. So, with 3 laps to go, there was no crash, there was no damaged car on track that needed recovering from the track itself. There was no debris strewn all over the track that takes time to sweep off the track. There was no fire to either car where they had to use the fire extinguisher to put the fire out. That takes time, and then you have to sweep up the powder afterwards. There was no damage to the barriers, which you had to check, because you have to inspect the barriers to make sure that they're not damaged in such a way that were a similar incident to happen once racing resumes, an impact at that barrier is going to be that them barriers don't do the job they're designed to do, so it needs an inspection before you can resume racing. None of that had to take place. So that all takes time. And Red Bull knew in 3 laps, even with just a little bit that did have to take place, there was going to be no resumption of racing. Abu Dhabi, 5 laps to go. All that had to take place. They had to remove a car from track. They had to put a fire out. They had to sweep the carbon fibre off the track and the white powder. The barriers had to be inspected. Then, the lapped cars would have had to have been released. Then, you have to do the mandatory safety car lap. The average time is at least 5.5 laps lost of racing before racing can resume. And let's be clear about this. Red Bull, for years, have had the best pit strategies. They're not rocket scientists. It's just the fact that the other teams are pretty awful. Mercedes are poor. Ferrari are atrocious. Okay? But Mercedes are poor. They're really poor. They've actually got away with it on the basis of having a strong all-round package and a brilliant driver. Okay? But in terms of decision making, they've cost Lewis Hamilton many a result. They've cost him numerous race victories due to poor decision making. Right? Red Bull, get it right. Because they make the right calls. They know what they're talking about. All it takes is a guy or a couple of guys or ladies just with a bit of knowledge that can just look at something, see what needs doing and make the right judgment call. And you've got to say hats off to Red Bull. As much as I don't like them, they make the right calls. So why did they do what they did in Abu Dhabi? What did they know? Because they will do the data. They'll know the statistics. You don't do a job like that without knowing the statistics. If you know about any sport, there are the statistics involved in every sport. You leave no stone unturned. Okay, sport is become that professional. It's not guesswork. Okay, you leave no stone unturned. You know the data. You know the probabilities. You know the times taken for these things, and you make the calculations. Red Bull know that. And yet what did they then do in Abu Dhabi? So what was the foreknowledge? What did they know was going to happen? These are the things you've got to open your eyes to. This was not just a random event. This was something that had been contrived between multiple parties. And the conversations you hear between Wheatley and Massey and Horner and Massey, they're scripted. They are just adding to the drama to play into the narrative. Because again, by the rules of the sport, when you consider the rules of the sport, when you consider the FIA International Sporting Code, which underpin the rules of the sport, everything that Red Bull are saying isn't compliant to that. And what you don't do in the last 5 laps of a Grand Prix is get out the rules of the sport, go through the safety car section, analyse the wording, and pick out of the air, oh, that word, any cars that have been lapped, we could go into a courtroom and argue that that doesn't mean all. We'll get a lawyer that will argue that corrupt argument, and we could then get a bent judge to make side on our side to say, oh yeah, well, technically, any doesn't necessarily mean all. So you're right there, Red Bull, to bollocks, right? But under pressure, in those last 5 laps of a race, do you get the rule book out? Having previously accepted the rules of the sport, every team, every competitor complies to the rules of the sport. And every time a safety car has been deployed before, and every time there has been lapped cars before, Red Bull haven't got on the radio and said, any doesn't mean all. You only have to release a couple of them. The one's just in front of Max so that he has the advantage. That was pre-planned. You don't just magic that up out of thin air. Anyway, that's enough for this one. See you next time.